You're listening to an AppleViz podcast. Hi there. My name is Thomas Domville, also known as Anonymous. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how to use the per app settings on iOS. This is definitely going to go out to my low vision friends out there. They're going to find this feature, oh my gosh, like, why haven't this been here all this time? This feature is going to be crucial and critical for my low vision friends out there. And I think this is going to become a driver and a feature that is a must have if you're low vision, in a way that you make any changes to the display and text on your screen now. Now, I will be demonstrating using with VoiceOver, so I will step by step by using VoiceOver, and those with no VoiceOver usage. Have no fear, as I know some of my low vision friends do use VoiceOver along with their vision. So I'll explain with this per app setting. So it's pretty much as it sounds like. So have you been in a situation, I can see all of you raise your hand, when you are, let's just say I am in an app and this text size or something is just too small, I can't read it. And I want to change that, and I make it to a larger text, make it bold, etc. And then I leave the app, go to another app. Well, I don't want that to be larger and bold. It's too big over here and whatever. Or I'm in dark mode, and I go to an app, and it's just like, boom. It's like, holy smokes, did somebody just put the strobe light on in my eyes? Instead of making it dark, it makes it completely invert, so it's like completely white, and so it's just like, wow. And then you have to go in, you have to add the invert to your rotors, and you have to select the invert to be on, and then when you get out the app, you have to turn off the invert. Gosh, it's just pain, right? A lot of steps involved, and not a one total solution for your needs, right? Well, have no fear. Now, Apple have introduced this per app setting, so it allows you to customize your display and text on a per apps basis. So if you have a troublesome app itself, you want it to invert it, or you want to increase the text size, or you want to make it bold, or you got lots of different options, you can customize it on a per app basis. Does that sounds a miracle or something that is long overdue? I think we can all agree that is. So bravo to Apple for introducing this per app setting. So it is a pretty easy procedure to set this up. So let's just dive right into it. So let's get your favorite iOS device out of choice. In my case, it's an iPhone. I'm going to go head over to the native settings app.
Settings. Double tap to open.
And once you find the settings app here, for those that are using VoiceOver, we do a one-finger double tap. Otherwise, just do a one-finger tap.
Settings.
Once we have arrived on the settings page, I want you to locate the accessibility. Those with VoiceOver, we're going to swipe to the right until we find the accessibility button.
Accessibility button.
And from here, one-finger double tap for my VoiceOver friends, and those that are not using VoiceOver, just one-finger tap.
Accessibility features help you customize your iPhone for your individual needs.
Now, at the very bottom of this page, you will find the per app settings. So let's head on down there. VoiceOver user, use the forefinger towards the bottom of the screen.
Per app settings button.
That's a shortcut. And then we have arrived to the per app settings button. Those with VoiceOver, do a one-finger double tap. Those without VoiceOver, just do a one-finger tap.
App customization heading.
This is a multiple step process. So the first step you have to do is to find the Add App button.
Add App button.
Once you locate that, this is the first step of many. So you have to add per app that you want to customize. Yes, this can be cumbersome and tedious for the first time, especially if you have a lot of apps and you want to customize each of these different apps to their per app setting. This can be lengthy, but the good news is once you have set it and then you use the iCloud as a backup, it should remember all those things you have changed and included and add. So make sure your iCloud is being backed up and it's being backed up successfully. That's the key word, successfully. I know people that use iCloud backup. So, oh yeah, it's backed up, and they go check and it's not being backed up because it's full or whatever not. So make sure it's successful so that way you don't have any fear of losing all your customized changes you made per app. So let's go ahead and add our first app of choice. So those with VoiceOver, one finger double tap on the Add App button. And those with no voiceover, just do a one-finger tap.
Selected. Choose app to customize. Heading.
All right, so which app do you want to customize? Now, this is going to be a personal preference. If you have a lot of apps do you want to add, or if you just have a few. Now, unfortunately, each time you tap on one of the apps you want to add, you'll have to go back into a circle, and I'll explain what that means. So let's just say I'm going to pick a particular app. Those for voiceover, you're going to swipe to the right until you find the app that you want.
Amazon.
So I'm going to pick the Amazon app for an example. So I'm going to do one finger double tap for voiceover user. Those with no voiceover, one finger tap.
Add app button.
And now you're back to the screen where you had the per app settings main menu. So this is where we had the add app. But if you go to the right, or those that can see it,
Amazon button.
You're going to see the app
Actions
that you
available.
just added. Now, if you want to add more, yes, you'll have to go to the add button above, the add app, and select that and keep selecting all the apps that you want to customize. That could be pretty lengthy or it could be pretty short, depending up to you. Now, once you have completed this step 1, we're going to go to step 2. This is where the customization comes in handy. And yes, you can't, I wish you could just make one change to one app and then have a template and bring it over to the other. That is not kind of how it works. So that's the unfortunate part. So each of these, you have to select the customization that you want. So it'll be pretty tedious work, as I mentioned before, at first, but once it's set, it should be ready to go. So I have Amazon here. So voiceover users, one finger double tap. Those with vision with no voiceover, do a one finger tap.
Display and text size. Heading.
All right, so here we are, display and text size. Now, I want to make one note to my remark about the template. And what I was referring there is that I wish if I made changes to, say, my Amazon, that it would go across to, say, Bard or Facebook, and those different apps is what I was referring to. Now, keep in mind, and I hope this doesn't confuse everybody, but if you were in the settings under accessibility, there is a display and text button there that you have probably gone there before at one point or another, double tap that or tapped into it, and you made those changes. For example, that is a global wide template. So if I have said I want large text and bold everywhere, you have already turned that on, if that makes sense. So every app you go to, it's turned on. By default, it's turned off, so there is no bold and it's regular text. So if you have not made any of those changes, then you're not going to have much to think about. Now, if you have made those changes, as I mentioned, bold, it's going to be system-wide. Now, we go to the per app settings to make those changes to it. So let me explain here.
Bold text. Default. Button.
The first one on the list is bold text. So let's double tap that.
Selected. Default.
You're going to hear that it says default. That means it's going to obey the system settings that you have set already before doing this per app settings. Now, if you want to override that, you got the two more options to here. As I swipe to the right for voiceover users,
On.
you have on,
Off.
and you have off. Now, if it's already on, obviously you can leave it at default, or I want to make sure if I ever turn off the global aspect to off, I want this always to be on.
On.
I'll just double tap that with voiceover users. Those with no voiceover, just do one finger tap on this.
Selected. On.
Now it's set to on. We're going to go to top left,
Amazon. Back button.
hit the back button, one finger double tap voiceover users, and one finger tap for those not using voiceover.
Amazon. Bold text. On. Button.
Now the changes has been placed to this app. So now we have bold that is on. And now I'm going to go through the different various options here. I may make a few comments. A lot of these are self-explanatory. You probably have seen before, and I don't need to explain all much to it since you have already seen these settings under the display and text under the accessibility.
Larger text. Default. Button. Button shapes. Default. Button. On/off labels. Default. Button. Reduce transparency. Default. Button. Improve contrast by reducing transparency and blurs on some backgrounds to increase legibility. Increase contrast. Default. Button.
That could be very useful, I think, for some of you out there who like to change the contrast.
Increase color contrast between app foreground and background colors.
Especially when an app changes drastically, as you have probably have seen with the invert. You've probably seen these really awkward colors. You'll be able to control that a little bit better.
Differentiate without color, default, button. Replaces user interface items that rely solely on color to convey information with alternatives. Smart invert, default, button.
I think that's going to be the biggest one. I think a lot of you could probably say, oh my gosh, I can actually control the smart invert per app. Yes, you'll be able to set this here.
Smart invert reverses the colors of the display, except for images, media, and some apps that use dark color styles.
And remember, we're making changes to what you see already. So if you wanted to ensure that setting sets and for sure changes, tap on that or double tap for VoiceOver and make those changes to it.
Motion, heading. Reduce motion, default, button. Reduce the motion of the user interface, including the parallax effect of icons. Autoplay video previews, default, button.
And there's the last one on this list. This is a pretty good set of items to customize with on a per app settings. The beautiful part, there is no done button or save, so it remembers the changes you made onto that app. So we're going to go to the top left.
Per app settings, back button.
And double tap on the back for VoiceOver users and one finger tap for those not using VoiceOver.
Per app setting, Amazon, button.
And now you have completed for Amazon. So in my case, the Amazon has been changed. Whatever I have made to it, you can head on out of here, go to your home screen, find the Amazon app, double tap it if you're using VoiceOver, or tap it if you're not using VoiceOver, and you'll see the change it done automatically on that app. Is that not cool? This is a very welcome, needed feature for all those frustrations and headaches you have come across before this ever came along, right? Now, one thing to note I want to mention before we head on out of here. Now, if you want to remove this app for VoiceOver users, it's as simple as swiping up on the app itself. So let's find Amazon here.
Amazon, button.
And then we're going to swipe up.
Delete.
And that allows us to delete it. Double tap that.
Performed action, delete.
And it
app
removes the app
heading.
itself. All right, so this is how to use per app settings on iOS. I hope this was from help, and thank you for putting up with a blind guy that has no vision at all. I hope I did some justice to this, and it indeed helped you tremendously. My name is Thomas Domville, also known as Mouse. Until next time, bye-bye.
This AppleVis podcast has been brought to you by the community of applevis.com. For the latest in resources and tips and tricks to get you the best experience from your Apple device, visit www.applevis.com.